guys, welcome back. Today's video, I'm gonna talk about the food delivery service for cats called Smalls. I'm gonna talk about the good, the bad, what my cat Gordon thought about this food, and overall my verdict on what I think about this service. So if you wanna hear about that, then just keep watching. First thing, I just want to say I do have a referral code which will give you a discount if you do want to sign up for Smalls. So check that out. I'll put all of the latest information down in the description box. Okay, so first we got to talk about what is Smalls, what is it all about, why would anyone want to use this service? Basically, Smalls is a cat food company where you put in all kinds of custom information about your cat. You put in their gender, their age, approximately if they're like a skinny cat, a fat cat. You can fill in information about their current diet. They have a whole questionnaire at the beginning asking you questions about your cat. And then at that point, they will give you a whole different range of subscription options. So basically you're choosing if you want to have, for example, all wet food, if you want all dry food, if you want a combination of wet and dry food, like how premium of food do you want? All that kind of stuff you can choose in the subscription. Basically how it works at that point is all the food is delivered to you, and for the most part everything is delivered frozen. So the dry food of course is not frozen, but all of the wet food is delivered frozen. So here we have one of the tubs that it kind of comes in. This is what the wet food looks like. It is kind of recommended that you keep everything frozen. So if you are someone who does not have like a giant freezer and you're used to keeping wet food in cans, then you're just gonna wanna think about that you are going to need freezer space. Basically, they say that you should just take out the one that you're like actively using and refrigerate it to thaw. But for the most part, you know, everything needs to be kept frozen. Okay, so let's talk about a few different elements of the service and kind of my thoughts about it. So the first thing is the price. Now, this service is definitely not cheap. When I put in all my information for Gordon, the price ranges that they had available were from between $2.46 all the way up to $4.26 per day. So that ends up being like approximately like $75 to $125 per month, approximately, depending on what plan you choose. Personally, I think this price is, as I said, it's not cheap. It's not the cheapest way to feed your cat. However, I think it is reasonable for what's out there. Normally, Gordon eats Tiki Cat, and he absolutely loves Tiki Cat. It ends up being about $100 a month for his food. Obviously, there's cheaper ways, but this is pretty comparable to what we were already spending. So I think the price is reasonable. And as I said, I do have that referral code, so you can save some money trying it out with that. Now for, the most important part of it, the taste. How did Gordon actually like this food? Well, he loved it, I think it's fair to say. He ate it all. He had absolutely no problems with it. Sometimes we have had issues in the past of giving him like new food where he does have a tendency to not keep his food down all the time, especially when he's transitioning to new food. And normally I know you're supposed to transition it more slowly, but we did kind of go cold turkey on this food, mainly just for the sake of seeing his true reaction to it. And he didn't have any problems. He didn't throw anything up. He ate it all and seemed happy to do so. So yeah, I would say the taste for Gordon was pretty good, I would say. The only thing that maybe would be like a negative of the quality is it does seem like it's not quite as wet as I've seen other wet food. It seemed like he was drinking maybe a little bit more water than normal while he was eating this food. So yeah, just if you're concerned about that, I would say just look at the water content of your current food and then you can kind of compare it to this food. Or you can just add a little bit of water on top of the wet food if you want to make it a little bit more moist. They actually do have an extra product that you can get, which is you can just buy chicken broth from them, which we did pour over his wet food a few times and he loved that. So that's another option as well. Now, there's just a few other things that I kind of want to cover that I think are important to think about or talk about in terms of pros and cons. So I think the biggest pro of this service is, number one, it's convenient. You don't have to really think about like picking out different types of food. They already have a variety of different like flavors and things that are included in the plan without you having to think about it. And then obviously, of course, there's a convenience factor of having it be an ongoing subscription. So that is just a more convenient way of buying cat food. As far as negatives, I would say the only real negative for me is the packaging. I did not like. Basically, all the wet food comes in these packages like this, and kind of what's unique about it is it's all like, this is enough for like a few days or a week, depending on how often you're giving your cat wet food. And basically they have these little lines on it that shows every 50 calories. So you can cut it off, kind of like how you see like a stick of butter with like the tablespoon lines on it. When I first saw this, I was like, wow, that's amazing. I love this packaging. You can pick out like exactly how much you want to just scoop out for the day. To be honest though, after the first time, I decided that I absolutely hate this packaging. I think it's honestly just really cumbersome to use, basically because you have to keep coming to the same container, so you end up having to like get another bag or something, like a Ziploc bag to put this in. Also, by the time you get to the end of the tube, like this thing doesn't really open up all the way very well, so I ended up having to like stick my hand in there with a spoon and like scooping it out from the back, and it ends up just being messy. Like I had to like wash my hands every time I use this. Just think about that. Otherwise, I think this service is a pretty legitimate and good way to get cat food. So I think it's worth checking out. I could definitely see myself continuing to use this service in the future. If you've ever used this service or have other thoughts about it, let me know. I would love to know your thoughts. And that's it. Bye, guys.